Hi, my name's Neil Oler. I wanted to do a video series on my experience with what I've learned recently about mental health and improving mental health. I had a couple of, episodes, something along the lines of heightened negative emotional responses to various conversations and experiences over the past couple months. And I realized that my experience with these, my reaction to these external stimuli wasn't the Neil I wanted to be. It wasn't the best Neil that I knew I could be. I had what I've kind of been terming my pizza crust explosion. There was a conversation I was having online with some buddies, and we were discussing various methods of pizza crust cooking, right? And I had some buddies who were saying, "Oh, our method is really good. We got these pizza stones and stuff." And I'm going, "Well, I have a pizza stone. I know how to do this." And they're going, "Well, okay, but really think like our method is really going to be pretty good." And in the end, they weren't necessarily being all that combative any more than any other discussion that we'd had many times before as friends. But for whatever reason, on that day, I was just on edge and kind of towards the end of getting a bit snippy, right? I kind of recused myself and said, wait a second here. I need to leave this conversation. I am getting way too worked up about pizza crust. This wasn't even like the last time before I said, I should look at this. I talked to a friend of mine who is a therapist, and he mentioned something called cognitive behavioral therapy. He was kind enough to kind of walk me through the process of, okay, well, here's the situation. Let's get down to how it made you feel. Now let's get down to how it really made you feel. And do you like feeling that way, right? In the pizza crust example, right? I felt like people were challenging my methods, and that made me feel self-conscious. But when I really looked at it, it made me feel sad, right? It made me feel angry that people would doubt my skills or that, I might not be good, right? I was afraid. This cognitive behavioral therapy says, okay, but how do you turn that into a realistic positive? If you try to tell your brain, no, I make the world's best pizza crust, we're not stupid as humans. We know that we can't just flip I'm worried that the pizza crust I make stinks. We know we can't flip it around to, I make the world's best pizza crust. But what we can do is recognize that this is kind of an irrational thing to be getting worried about. Because even if my buddies have a better method of making pizza crust, okay, fine. But I know I've made pizza that I have found delicious, I've enjoyed, and others have found delicious. I wanted to make a video series that highlighted a lot of these, what are called on a worksheet I found, I'll link it somewhere around here, cognitive distortions. These are irrational responses that for whatever reason we acquire, we build, we allow to sneak in, whatever, into our lives so that when some of these external stimuli hit us, that we give in to these irrational fears. Things like catastrophizing everything, being emotionally connected to things that are outside of our control, right? Worrying about things that aren't fair for us to worry about, or getting stressed about things that are not ours to get stressed about, and yet we own these things. And they can kind of ruin certainly our day and maybe ultimately lead to a lot more stress in our life than is really necessary. I realized through talking to my friend and looking at this cognitive behavioral therapy idea, mental health is not a binary thing. It's not either you have schizophrenia or you are perfectly, wonderfully great. It's just like any other muscle or part of your body that there's a workout routine that you can go through to develop stronger mental health, just like you can develop stronger muscles by doing more workouts. This is not meant to be a replacement for actual professional licensed therapy. This is just something that I recently had some great experiences with and felt like, because we got a weird stigma still in this world about mental health, both of it being worried about too often and then other people worried about it not being talked enough, that at the risk of muddying the waters, I want to put my voice out there for something that could be approachable. That if you feel like me, that I think I'm okay as far as major psychosis goes, right? Major psychological or mental problems or afflictions or issues, But if you realize through some of these pizza crust experiences that maybe you have a few neuroses, right? Minor quirks or kinks in your brain that you're going, why did I do that? Why did I react that way? Perhaps these might be of interest to you. It's going to be a bit of a journey to reprogram my brain after 35 years of giving into some of these cognitive distortions. But as I've tried to do this in the few weeks of exploring these ideas and talking with good friends and some more licensed therapists, and thinking about, well, cool, this is something I'm already seeing the benefits of, and I wanted to try and pass it on in a way that was practical and something that hopefully you can watch and you can walk away from feeling like you really gained traction on improving the fitness of your mental health. So I'm Neil Oler. Come with me on this cool journey. Going to be talking about mental health and cognitive distortions.